Good morning, my dear students. How are you? Welcome back to my English channel. My name is Mr. Yasser Tayar. Today we are going to revise what we have studied during week 6. Okay. Let's start with grammar. Here we want to combine these two ideas using the word in brackets. Number one, before starting, we have to know the word and is used to connect two ideas that have the similar meaning or that the same ideas. For example, lots of layers will keep you warm, and lots of layers will preserve heat. This means lots of layers will keep you warm and preserve heat. This is a compound sentence. Number two, here you can't eat the Arctic shark. It's poisonous. Since equals because. This means you cannot eat the Arctic shark. Why? Because or since or as it's poisonous, and this is complex sentence. A compound sentence depends on the connectors or the conjunctions that called fanboys. Fanboys. F for, A for and, O for or, B for but, O okay, and yet y for yet. Okay, this is an example of compound. Combine these three ideas using the words in brackets. Remember to pack a torch. You can use it to provide light. You can use it to signal for help. We have to use these two connectors or these two conjunctions, and because this means remember to pack a torch because you can use it to provide light and signal, and this kind of sentence is called compound complex. Okay, here we have to reorder or put these words in order to make meaningful sentences. It's better to have enough time to try to reorder by yourself now, but I'm going to show you the answer. Even though Salim had studied all night, he still did poorly on his exam. Salim still did poorly on his exam even though he had studied all night, and this kind of sentence is called the complex sentence because we used though, even though, or although. All these ideas are related to contradiction. Okay, number two, let's check. Fatma went to the mall today since her friends were there and to buy a new pair of shoes. Here we use two conjunctions, since and. Okay, so this sentence is called the compound complex. Number three, homework there. Do they never study nor for exam? They never do homework nor study for their exams. As I told you, if we have n for nor, this is a compound sentence. As I told you, fanboys, n related to nor. Okay, let's go to this exercise, please. We have to use after, or, and, even though, if, and, because, so. Number one, Salim is my friend. I bought him a present, gave it to him at the weekend. Why? Because Salim is my friend. I bought him a present. Okay, because Salim is my friend. I bought him a present and gave it to him at the weekend. Here we have to put because, and here we must put and. It's okay. So it's better to try to think by yourself and to try to answer the next three questions by yourself. If you want any help, just to go back to your workbook. You will find the answer. Okay, let's go to vocabulary section, please. Here we have synonyms for these words. As we know, this unit is called the weather extreme, or extreme weather. These all words are related to weather. Number one, cold. We want to find another two words that have the same meaning. Yes, it's called the frigid or chilly. Number two, typhoon, like cyclone or hurricane. Windy, gusty, breezy, blustery. Foggy, what does it mean? Misty or hazy. Here, humid, gusty, severe, torrential, tornado. One day about 5 years ago, I was at home all alone. It was a cloudy day, and earlier the weather forecasters on the radio had predicted storm. This means we have to put here an adjective. Severe storm in the area. Outside, I saw dark clouds in the distance. I wasn't too worried because I had already closed and locked all the windows just in case a rainstorm. It's okay to return to a rainstorm. Came a lot of sudden. I noticed that I had become very hot, and these two words are connected to each other. Hot and humid. Hot and humid. It was also what gusty, making the leaves rustle. Even though the weather was starting to become worse, I didn't think much of it. Suddenly, as I was reading a book, I received a call from my sister. She yelled at me to look out the back window, and I saw coming straight at me a what sure tornado. It's okay. Thank you very much. Here, let's check this exercise, please. We have to rearrange the letters to make it to make items you might find in a survival kit. Before starting, what can we find in a survival kit? As I explained to you, we may find matches, lighter, torch, it's okay, mirror, compass, knife, for example. All these things can be found in a survival kit. Here we have to rearrange these letters to make a meaningful word and to know what is the use or how do we use this one in a survival kit. Number one, it's called the mirror. It's used for signaling. Number two, compass. It's used for what? For finding direction. Yes, and this one I think it's a knife used for cutting, and matches are used for lighting a fire, and this one is plasters used for covering injuries or sticking things together. The next one, we are going to differentiate between or know the difference between dependent clause and independent clause. Please try to concentrate, please. What is the difference between dependent and independent? Dependent, this means it needs another sentence to make it more clear or to understand it well. Okay, for example, my name is Mr. Yasser. This is called independent clause because you understood everything. Now here, if I take because you are my best friend, what did you understand? Nothing. This is called dependent clause because it cannot be alone. It cannot be written alone and give you a full meaning. Okay, even though my car is very old, this I think this one, even though my car is very old, I like watching films, this is independent, and I like playing video games, this is independent, and whenever my parents let me, this is called dependent because it cannot be stand alone. It cannot stand alone. I think I know the way to the office. I think you understand it. Okay, but I may get lost, no problem. Here is the problem. Here is cannot you understand unless I take a map with me. We drove to the mall, okay, and we stopped by the ATM, okay. Here, this is called the dependent clause since we needed a lot of money. Thank you very much for your listening. Goodbye. See you next week. With my best wishes, Mr. Yasser Tayar. Thank you.